What did a school teacher say that stuck with you?
Silent scan.
It's okay, you can smile. This was first thing our middle school music teacher, who we all loved, said on his first day back after his wife, an art teacher many of us had in elementary, was killed in a car accident. He made music class a lot of fun, and we'd missed him in the week he took off after his wife's death. He was used to coming into a room full of smiling faces, ready for another fun hour of class. We were all sitting utterly silent, fixed on him with what I'm sure were the most somber little faces he'd ever seen. He smiled at us after he said it, and we all smiled back, and he thanked us for it.
Silent scan.
Biology teacher, pointing at student. Ugly bag of protein, full of water.
Silent scan.
One day in 7th grade our principal came into the homeroom class and wrote on the board $19.32 in big numbers. He got our attention and announced to the class, "This," pointing at the number, "is what you are worth. Every day you come to class, the school gets $19.32 from the state for each of you. So if you are sick, you should still come to class, go to the nurse, and get sent home. That way the school will still get its $19.32. That was the day I stopped caring about school. I'm pretty sure he was trying to increase attendance and believed what he said was positive. But when a person you're supposed to respect tells you you're worth less than a $20 bill.
Silent scan.
I know what it is to be young, but you don't know what it is to be old. I don't know why and how it came up, but our English teacher asked me if I understand that. It was the first year, and I was 10, and I definitely did not understand. But it somehow stuck in my mind as the sound of the sentence, until I could decipher the memory in retrospect. As my dad said, "I have been 17, you haven't been 50.
Silent scan.
I once asked my teacher something about the subject. And she said, "I don't know, but I'll do some research and get back to you tomorrow." I'm studying to be a teacher, and one of my teachers told us, "There is no shame in admitting to your students that you don't know something. However, you should look it up to answer it next time you see them and be prepared for the next time you get asked that."
Silent scan.
Once you're an adult, you choose your own fate. Your mom won't control you anymore. This came from a 9th grade Algebra 1 teacher who took the time to tutor me. My mom was / is a anti-vaxxing, cult following nutbag who didn't think school was important because Armageddon is coming. I was terrible at math until I met him. It's been 25 years and I think of this teacher still. I'm grateful. Don't talk to mom anymore. She got tired of me asking where Armageddon was.
Silent scan.
You're a spoon in a knife block when asked why most of my friends were high achievers and I was only average. Ever tried to eat ice cream with a knife? You're useful in your own way, bro, keep it up.
Silent scan.
You have unlimited potential when you know how to find the first step. After many years of pressing through, I feel like this has essentially become my motto. I had only a concept before, but now I have the words. Thank you, stranger.
Silent scan.
I took Latin all 4 years of high school. I quickly realized I despised the language, but I stuck with it for the teacher himself. He alone was worth it. Our Latin class was right above the hallway with classrooms for special needs kids. One day, after it was apparent nobody did their homework, my teacher stopped class and said, "You're all taking what you have for granted, and it's inexcusable. There are several dozen kids in the hallway below you who wish they had the mental faculties to do homework." I did my Latin homework regularly after he said that.
Silent scan.
In French class in high school, over 20 years ago, part of the lesson was going over some sentences in French. She pointed one out in particular. I go to school on the bus. My horrible attempt at typing it was something like "Je viens à l'école en bus." I understand I've probably triggered people who speak French. I apologize. I remember vividly the teacher saying, "For some reason, this is the only French any of my students ever remember after they are done with this class." Here I am, 2+ decades, Removed from that class in the 90s, and that's the only French I remember.
Silent scan.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to get even more awesome content. Come on, it just takes 1 second.
Silent scan.
I had a maths teacher who was an older woman, really strict, and nobody particularly liked her. We mocked her way of speaking, and were generally mean teenage assholes. Once, when I was around 15, I hadn't finished my homework, so I dropped my book in a puddle and showed it to her in class to say I'd lost the homework so couldn't hand it in. She questioned me a bit on how it had happened, then asked me to stay after class. The whole lesson I was shitting myself, expecting to be absolutely bar locked once everyone else had gone, so when the bell rang I sheepishly went up and sat at her desk after everyone had left. To my surprise, she didn't shout at me, but gently asked if I was being bullied and somebody had taken my workbook and ruined it on purpose. I was a little skinny kid with glasses and braces, so I can see why she would have thought that, but in that moment I suddenly saw her as a human being with feelings and empathy, and not just a teacher. I felt like shit for the way I had treated her, and for lying about what had happened. I never admitted it to her, just reassured her that I was fine, but it did stick with me, and I was much less of a dick to teachers after that.
Silent scan.
I had a 9th grade earth science teacher who actually had a PhD in biology. He told us that he had made his was through school by writing things he had to learn on 3x5 note cards and would pull them out of his pocket when he had a few minutes to learn/memorize the material he had written on them. I used that technique from then on, all the way through my own PhD, when I had something important to understand or commit to memory.
Silent scan.
I had a chemistry teacher in high school who was a bit of a hothead. One day, when 2 kids were talking in class, he stopped. Everyone expected a quick but firm correction. What we got was so much better. Our teacher stopped and calmly turned towards the class and said, "Do you hear that?" He walked towards the window at the back of the class. Everyone sat stone quiet. He leaned towards the window. "Do you hear it?" Faint laughter. It's 5 million Chinese children laughing quietly. Because they are taking your jobs. Then he just walked back to the front of the class and started teaching again. No one talked. Damn.
Silent scan.
Whoever threw that paper, your mom's a hoe.
Silent scan.
You'd do so much better in life if you gave a fuck. Said to me by one of the English teachers in my high school a week before I graduated. This was during a conversation about what I wanted to do post high school, and I said something along the lines of, "I don't know. Get a job or something." After years of hearing about my creative writing ability and even showing it during his classes, he'd honestly given up on me. But hey, I'm sure I wasn't the last kid to let him down.
Silent scan.
My art teacher told me I couldn't draw. Fast forward 15 years and I've graduated university with a fine art degree and have my own small illustration business as a side gig. It's not a huge thing, but I've had over 150 sales now and have like actual fans. So, screw you, Miss H.
Silent scan.
Even girls have a bigger dick than yours.
Silent scan.
Killing yourself is a selfish act. There are people you haven't met yet who need you. She was my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Stone, and I swear to God she saved my life without knowing it.
Silent scan.
If you hang with the turkeys you can't soar with the eagles. Fuck off, turkeys are dope. Ben Franklin would like to have a word with him about those damn eagle cowards.
Silent scan.
My favorite teacher would say, "I'm tenured and can't be fired, so if I offend you, I don't care. I'm also on the board of so and so's pharmaceutical board, so this job is strictly to help you survive in a real job. The pay here is terrible." Only teacher at my college that didn't use a textbook as a crutch. He used real world examples from his job experience to teach about product sales and marketing. He was a sarcastic asshole and I loved his teaching style. It's the only class that taught me skills I actively use in my career, besides an optional Excel class I took.
Silent scan.
You're too young, you'll hold back the class later. You haven't even mastered the basics. I don't want you to take the next course. My high school computer science teacher, attempting to discourage me from taking programming as a freshman. After I topped best student in the class, he tried again to keep me from taking the next level course. He was so persistent in his discouragement, often mocking me in class. Most kids and parents would have given up after such an onslaught, but I'm glad my mother was persistent and supportive. Many years later and now a successful adult, I see that teacher for what he is, a jealous and sad man.
Silent scan.
If you are early, you are on time. If you are on time, you are late. If you are late, it is unacceptable.
Silent scan.
It's only cheating if you get caught. My science teacher.
Silent scan.
Never wish someone good luck, always wish them success. Luck is not absolute, success is. This quote from my anthropology teacher really stuck with me. It made me stop saying good luck to people.
Silent scan.
Congratulations, you reached the end of this awesome video. Now, like and subscribe, like we talked earlier, come on.
Silent scan.